Toledo and Bowling Green. It's one of the premier rivalries in all of college athletics. Tonight, they meet for the only time on the hardwood in this regular season. It's the Rockets and the Falcons. Next. Savage Arena is already rocking. It's the 171st edition of the Battle of I-75 as the Toledo Rockets, winners of 6 games in a row, take on their arch rival, Bowling Green Falcons. Welcome courtside, everybody, alongside a guy that knows a thing or two about this rivalry, former Rocket Jay Gast. My name is Mason Lowry, and it's great to have you with us for what is maybe the most hotly anticipated game in this building in quite some time. Almost a sellout, around 7,000 tickets sold. This is going to be fun.
Well, Toledo comes in on a hot streak anyway, and this game couldn't come at a better time for them. Just with their momentum and everything that they've got going on, this is a great night for Toledo basketball, and I can't wait for it to get started.
Well, this Toledo team has been outstanding all season, in large part because of some terrific guard play. And in Jalen Sanford, they have not just one of the best scoring guards in the league, but one of the most versatile guards around.
Well, we've talked a great deal about Jalen and his ability to score the basketball and create for himself and other players. But his game is really diversified into the way he can handle the ball, and he's really making great strides at the defensive end, and really one of the leaders for the Rockets in this run as far as the efforts that he's putting forth on defense.
Yeah, Jalen Sanford, one half of the point guard equation for the Rockets. The other half is an outstanding freshman in Marion Jackson, a player who seems to be getting more and more confident with every game.
Well, I've been singing Marion's praises since the first night we saw him. All his skills aside, I love the energy and enthusiasm that he brings to the court for the Rockets. The way his effort and just his love of the game, you can see he wears it on his jersey when he plays, and I think it's contagious across the Rocket team.
This is a Bowling Green team, meanwhile, that plays a higher tempo style than they did a season ago. And Justin Turner is a big reason why, the top freshman scorer in the MAC.
Well, the Falcons are going to look to push it. Turner's going to lead them with that. He's being a redshirt freshman. He's come in and really made a contribution right from the start, not only at the offensive end, but also at the defensive end. And he's certainly been a good addition for the Falcons.
Bowling Green also has an outstanding true center in Dimaggio Wiggins. Now here's a guy that grew up in Toledo. He went to nearby Springfield High School, and you know he wants to impress in his hometown.
Well, the big thing that Wiggins is going to pose to the Rockets is he's going to post up strong in our latter-day post player type of play. He's going to post. If he doesn't get the ball, he's going to look to move and repost. You're not going to see him out on the perimeter much, and he's going to have to really have a big game for the Falcons to have any success tonight.
A wise man once said, "Get your popcorn ready." The Battle of I-75 awaits right after this. You're watching MAC Basketball on ESPN3. It is a beautiful night here in Toledo. Unseasonable warmth all day, hovering around 50 degrees for much of the afternoon into the evening, as the Toledo offense has continued to heat up. For the season, they're shooting around 46% from beyond the arc. Weather outside heating up as well. It is worth noting that this is round 2 of the Battle of I-75 for the day. Round 1 happened about 20 minutes away from here down at the Stroh Center. Women's basketball, Toledo taking on Bowling Green. That was an afternoon that belonged to J.N. Bravo Harriet, the senior Toledo Rocket from London, England. Knocked down a career-high 8 threes, 8 of 14 from beyond the arc. She poured in 27 points. She shredded the Falcons early. BG then went to a zone, and that slowed Toledo down a bit. The Falcons, at 2 points of the second half, had a 5-point lead, but in the end, just a little too much to Toledo. They got that 27 from J.N. Bravo Harriet, 17 from Olivia Cunningham off the bench, 16, 10 rebounds, 6 assists from Michaela Boyd, 10 points from the Toledo and Kayla McIntyre. In spite of a 24-point effort from Sydney Lambert for Bowling Green, just too much Toledo. And the Rockets in the end won it 77-67, the only time that the Toledo and Bowling Green women would meet in the regular season. And this is the only regular season meeting between Toledo and Bowling Green as well. No surprises in the Toledo starting lineup. And the guy that gets the least amount of publicity in this Toledo starting 5 is Taylor Adway. He was terrific in a big road win for the Rockets over Western Michigan on Tuesday. 7 points, 10 rebounds, and some outstanding interior defense.
especially the defensive part. We don't see that in the box score. You don't see that when you look at it the next day. And Taylor has continued to find ways to contribute, even though he's probably not necessarily getting starter minutes. He has a tremendous role, and they've really kind of worked kind of a two-headed monster between he and Kanapke as far as that post play. And Taylor Adway's contributions to the Rockets has just been outstanding this year.
We highlighted Marion Jackson and Jalen Sanford in the open, but the team's leader in assists is Trayshawn Fletcher, leads his team in scoring, rebounds, and assists. He is a legitimate candidate for MAC Player of the Year.
Most definitely. Again, he's coming in, and he had that year off where he was able to practice with the team, and really kind of, it took him a little bit to get his sea legs, as it were, and he's just been outstanding for the Rockets. And this is a very cohesive group, as cohesive a unit as maybe Coach has had since he's been here, and it's really starting to show in their play.
Bowling Green had a really difficult week. Last Saturday, they had a 15-point lead in the second half against Central Michigan at home. Ended up losing that game by 9 and then got run on the road in DeKalb by 31. Northern Illinois Huskies shooting 76% in the second half against them. Bowling Green putting Matt Fox into the starting lineup, just his second start of the season. Statistically the best three-point shooter in the league at 48%.
Well, Fox is another local kid out of Anthony Wayne High School, and he has a tremendous shot. He's shooting the ball very, very well. I think, well over 45%, I believe, from behind the three-point line. And he gives them a little bit added offensive punch. Not like they need it coming in, averaging almost 80 points a game, but he is more of their true perimeter-type shooter that the Falcons can put out there.
Taylor Adway and Dimaggio Wiggins will jump center. And with that, the Battle of I-75 is underway. Bowling Green in the road brown uniforms, Toledo in the home grays. These two teams met 3 times last year. Toledo won here at Savage in the regular season. Bowling Green won a double overtime thriller down to the Stroh Center, and then the Rockets took out Bowling Green here again in the first round of the MAC tournament.
Well, right away we see the Falcons trying to get the ball inside. Wiggins posted one block, moved across, and good low-side defense there. That way knocked the ball out of bounds. But we're going to really look to see Bowling Green looking to get the ball through Wiggins' hands.
Matt Fox, you cannot leave him alone because he'll do that. Matt Fox, the senior from nearby Maumee, Ohio. Played his high school ball at Anthony Wayne High School. He was a conference rival of Dimaggio Wiggins at Springfield. Hands that three from the top.
Well, he's too good a shooter to leave that far open, and Toledo just kind of got jammed up on that baseline out of bounds and weren't able to find all the offensive players off that inbound.
Foul was on Dylan Fry, the sophomore from Miami. He's a sweet shooting guard, a 38% shooter from beyond the arc. Both head coaches, Todd Kowalczyk and Michael Huger, on record as saying this should be a protected rivalry. Toledo and Bowling Green should play one another twice, at least, every year. Lob inside. Got the wrong part of the net as Marion Jackson tried to tee up Taylor Adway.
Well, as you can imagine, emotions and energy is very high starting this game for both teams. It's a packed house here at Savage, and it's going to take a little bit of settling in here off the start.
Here's Wiggins backing down Taylor Adway to make it 5-0. Dimaggio Wiggins has been outstanding in conference play. He's averaging 16 points and 11 rebounds a night.
Wiggins took his time when he got the ball there. He got it in really, really low on Adway that time.
Trayshawn Fletcher drew the double team. Poked away momentarily by Wiggins, and Adway fouled on the way up by Matt Fox.
It's going to be interesting to see who can get to the free throw line a lot tonight and really be the aggressor. We've seen Toledo now draw 2 quick fouls early in this game against Bowling Green.
Todd Kowalczyk in his 8th year here at Toledo. On the left of your screen, he's got a terrific record all time against Bowling Green, 8-3. Michael Huger, you know he wants this one badly. He was a star at Bowling Green in the early 90s. Now in his 3rd season as head coach. Taylor Adway knocks down the first free throw. Adway, junior from Hazel Crest, Illinois. Same high school as the Toledo legend Juice Brown. That's a second one to rattle in. He averages 4.6 points, 3.9 rebounds a game. And in spite of starting all but one game this year, only averages about 15 minutes a night. Here's Justin Turner. The floater goes. 7-2 Falcons.
Turner was real quick right there. He caught the pass and went right at Fletcher. Didn't slow up or debate about what he wanted to do with the ball.
Toledo on a hot streak. They've won 9 of their last 10 games, 6 in a row in the MAC. Nice move by Navigado. Didn't get the bounce.
Wiggins came over just enough to catch Navigado to catch him out of the outside of his eye and enough to just knock him off rhythm just a tad.
Wiggins goes to work. Shoulder first into Adway. No whistle and an easy deuce for Wiggins. Does not look like the same Bowling Green team that got run in DeKalb last time out.
They're coming out with a lot of energy and really executing their game plan flawlessly at this point. A facet of Toledo's game plan is to get the ball in Fletcher's hand, especially in that mid-zone area, mid-lane area.
Fletcher gives the Rockets 18.4 points, 8.3 rebounds, 3.9 assists per game. Jumper not there for Turner, and the foul is called on Toledo. Get Taylor Adway for his first. I think that performance in Western Michigan last time out for Taylor Adway was the best we've seen from him in a Toledo uniform. He'll have his hands full when he's out there with Dimaggio Wiggins, who's already scored 4 points. Off the bounce, that's Fry, left it short. No deflection on the way. It's Toledo ball out of bounds.
Toledo did a pretty good job there of getting over that high ball screen and really contesting Fry's jumper.
Nate Navigado, a player that Bowling Green really needs to keep an eye on. Last year, he torched the Falcons in this building to the tune of 22 points in their regular season matchup. Set the tone early with some big early threes. There's Fletcher again.
Well, when Fletcher starts out hitting that mid-range jumper, it could be a long night for Bowling Green because once he gets his rhythm and really gets his eye, he can catch on fire in a hurry.
Fletcher started quite slowly last Saturday against Kent State. Labor jumper from Roderick Caldwell. Fletcher huge down the stretch, one huge dunk. Fletcher unable to bank it in. Picked up by Caldwell, the sophomore from Dayton. Averages 11 points a game for Bowling Green. Caldwell had a miserable start to conference play. Averaged less than 4 points a game in their first 4, but the last 3 averaging about 14 a night.
Again, you see Wiggins throw it out and then repost. And good defense by Adway that time, contesting that short jumper.
Wiggins, one of the most efficient scorers in the league at 56% as the Falcons force the turnover on the run out. The Euro step from Caldwell wouldn't go. Turner got it to Fry for 2.
Bowling Green really followed that first lead pass up the floor, and we talked about them wanting to get out in transition and get down the floor, beating Toledo's defense, and they certainly did that time.
Seen a lot of Wiggins at the other end. Here's Adway going to work. Too strong underneath and picked up by Turner. Justin Turner, the redshirt freshman from Detroit. Missed all of last year with ankle and hamstring problems. A big boost for the Falcons this year. Wiggins again. That popped out. Adway ripped it away. That has been quite a battle in the first 5 minutes.
Well, we said they were going to take it down to Wiggins, and so far Adway's been up to the challenge. Wiggins might have got away with an over the back on that one.
Marion Jackson from the outside throws up a brick, and it's pulled down by Wiggins. Toledo, the best three-point shooting team in the Mid-American Conference for the season, 41.4%. Bowling Green cooling off after a hot start. Toledo, in the meantime, scoreless in the last 2 minutes. That was ripped at by Caldwell, who's called for the foul. That's his first. And we're at the first media timeout of the game. Bowling Green early on, feeling it from the floor. They've taken this 7,000 strong crowd out of it. The Falcons with an early 5-point lead. Well, a tremendous crowd on hand here at Savage Arena, 7,000 strong. Great to see the students out in big numbers. It's a whiteout for the students and everyone else, unless you're wearing orange and brown tonight. This is the Battle of I-75, a series that Toledo leads all time 90-80. They've won 7 of the last 8 games. Todd Kowalczyk has had a terrific record in this rivalry. You have to go all the way back to January 1916, even before Jay Gass time, to find the first meeting between these two schools. And as we mentioned earlier, the last meeting came in the first round of the 2017 MAC tournament.
Well, this was just always one of those fun, probably the most fun games to play was in. I can remember going into Old Anderson Arena and playing. It was just, it was really special.
The house that roared, the home Bowling Green basketball until 2011. And the beautiful new Stroh Center opened up. It's Willie Jackson in the game for the first time. Count the basket. And he was bumped by Derek Coates, the freshman, in off the bench. A chance for a three-point play for Willie Jackson.
Well, that just exemplifies really what Willie can bring to the floor. You saw him go high to get the pass. He was able to gather himself and then use that athleticism and strength to take it right up through the defender and finish strong. And now he gets to head to the free throw line as we finally get to the keys to Toledo's victory. As we talked about transition defense, they've got to get down the floor because Bowling Green's going to push it. And we're seeing the Rockets get to the free throw line already, that as they've already gathered 14 fouls against Bowling Green. So the Rockets need to get to the free throw line a lot tonight.
Antoine Lillard in the game with the ball for Bowling Green. What about the Falcons, Jay?
Well, Bowling Green has needed to cut down Toledo's possessions, force them into turnovers, have them come up with empty possessions, and keep Toledo from getting good looks and drive them off the three-point line because that's Toledo's bread and butter is getting good looks behind the line.
Eric Koch was called for the foul at the other end, got the 2 points back with the flush. 5-point Bowling Green lead. Tipped into the BG bench by Justin Turner.
Well, Turner was real active there. He got over that down screen trying to free up Sanford. He came out with it and was able to deflect it out of bounds, but he was just real active with his feet and got around the screen.
Daquan Plowden just checked in for Bowling Green, a 6'6 freshman from Philadelphia. High energy guy, averages 5 points a night for the Falcons. Jalen Sanford comes up empty as he attacked the basket. Coach can shoot it from the outside at a 31% clip, but passed up the open look. That's a better look for Turner on the inside. Blocked away. Coach tries to run it down. He did, and got it to Dylan Fry. Turner in the corner for 3. Too long, and Sanford collects for Toledo. Jalen Sanford averaging just under 17 points a game and making it rain. That's a long 2. His first points of the night.
Just enough space created by the big screen from Kanapke at the top, and Jalen doesn't need a lot of room to knock that down, and good stroke by him.
Rockets have won 9 of their last 10 games, as we mentioned. They lost a couple in a row in mid-December at Savage Arena against Marshall and Wright State. A couple of games that saw Jalen Sanford forcing it a little bit. But the game is coming to him again, and it's certainly paying off for this Rocket team. That's a player control foul on Lillard. Another look here.
You look at Willie Jackson. He moves his feet. He stays in good position, and he takes the shoulder right on the chin. That's all Willie Jackson there. Moving his feet, staying in good defensive position. All about effort on defense for the Rockets.
Willie Jackson, a player that describes himself as a glue guy. He'll do anything asked of by the coaches. Todd Kowalczyk has said he plays with an extreme confidence that borders on arrogance at times. Kind of player you want to play with and not against. Case in point.
That's kind of arrogant there coming down the lane there by Willie. He put that home with some authority.
Raising the temperature inside Savage Arena just a touch.
And the decibel level. That kind of got everybody off their seats.
Fry missed off the bounce. Cope missed with the tip. And a foul called on the floor on Toledo. I think they'll get Luke Kanapke, the big redshirt sophomore from Minster, Ohio. The foul is on him. The Rockets leading bench score at 10.8 a game.
Well, it was like Koch had better position on Knappe there, and they were battling for the rebound, and Luke just got pushed behind him.
We talked about the Toledo starter at the 5, Taylor Adway, only averaging about 15 minutes a game. Knappe getting the other 25. The roles were reversed against Western Michigan. Taylor Adway played a season-high 26 minutes with Knappe in foul trouble. That's Lillard going on the offensive, and he drew the foul en route to the basket. So Antoine Lillard will head to the free throw. The foul was on Dylan Alderson. Couple of early dunks. One from Koch, another from Willie Jackson. 1-point game here in Toledo. Great crowd here at Savage Arena in Toledo. Bowling Green leading the Rockets 13-12. Here's what these two teams have done this year. Bowling Green, a really impressive record on the road. 6-3 in road games this year. 2 road wins in conference play already. They won at Miami and at Eastern Michigan. Scoring a lot of points, too. 79 a game. That's third best of the MAC. Last in scoring defense, however. And Toledo, of course, atop the MAC West by 3 games coming into play tonight. Best team in the MAC in terms of scoring efficiency and three-point efficiency at almost 46%.
Well, the fact that Toledo has moved so well offensively without the ball and moves the ball around and gets a lot of touches in their offense, they've created a lot of good looks for themselves throughout these last 8, 9, 10 games, and it's really shown in their one-loss record.
Antoine Lillard, the junior from Cleveland, rattles in the first free throw. He was suspended the first 8 games of this season due to a violation of team rules. Has really come on strong in conference play. Had a double-double in their win at Eastern Michigan, 20 points and 12 rebounds. That's Justin Roberts, Toledo's backup point guard out there, the sophomore from Lawrence, Kansas. Does a lot of the little things. He doesn't score a ton, but he doesn't turn the ball over. In fact, turns the ball over once every 34 minutes of game time this year. Worth noting that Bowling Green is without their backup point guard. Nellie Cummings was injured in practice yesterday. Will not play tonight. And Dylan Alderson knocks down the 3, and that ties it at 15.
Great find by Willie Jackson there. Willie got the block and almost had a chance to go over the strong, but he saw Alderson wide open out there and kicked it out. And it's nice to see the freshman step up and knock that one in.
That's a foul on Trayshawn Fletcher. So he went right into the chest of Derek Cook.
I think Alderson's going to be another one of these fine players for the Rockets. He really has a knack about him on the floor. And I was going to interrupt you there before and talk about Justin Roberts and his assist ratio or turnover ratio in minutes. He's not one that looks to shoot much, but you cannot leave him open. He's capable, very capable of knocking down those open jump shots if they cheat off of him and think he's only out there to run the offense.
Plowden, the freshman, goes right at Nate Navigato, missed with the tip. Knappe got a hand to it and picked up by Trayshawn Fletcher, the transfer from Colorado. Todd Kowalczyk talked this week about his bench rotation. He'll go 9 deep with Roberts, Alderson, Knappe, and Willie Jackson. Fletcher hits from the free throw line. Todd Kowalczyk said, not only do I have a lot of confidence in the bench guys, the starters have a lot of confidence in the bench guys, and that's big.
Well, and everyone's accepting their roles and what their contribution is. I mean, obviously everybody wants to do more and play more, but that's part of the cohesiveness and this team getting along so well. Everyone's accepted what their responsibilities are, and it all boils down to wins and losses.
Caldwell missing Bowling Green without a made basket in the last 3.5 minutes. Nice find! Fletcher to Knappe, cutting to the basket.
Again, movement without the ball. Knappe sets the high ball screen and then slides right down, and Fletcher's knocked down a couple jump shots, and he had all their attention, and he found Big Luke down the lane.
Dry over Fletcher. That stops the Toledo run. It was a 7-0 spurt for the Rockets over the last 90 seconds. Dylan Fry with 4 points. Hit that three at the buzzer that beat Florida Gulf Coast back in the non-conference season. Fletcher to Alderson in the corner for three. The freshman with 2 big triples off the bench.
What big rivalry game for the freshman, huh? Comes out and knocks down 2 threes, and again, it's great to see Dylan step up and really contribute like that. He's gonna enjoy this rivalry even more if he keeps shooting like that.
Alderson with 6 points. He averages 1.9 per game. The foul was on Justin Roberts. Taylor Adway will return for Toledo. Turner, Fox, and Wiggins enter the fray for Bowling Green. Dimaggio Wiggins, a player that Toledo coach Todd Kowalczyk says is one of the best in the conference. Foul is before the shot. They'll get Adway. That's a second on him. Kanapke had just checked out of the game. We'll see how long Coach Kowalczyk stays with Adway. And if I'm Bowling Green right now, I'm going right at him again.
Well, and they've gone to Wiggins time and time again when he's been in the game. So they're not really going to break their offensive strategy doing that anyway. But you know, to get a third foul on Adway would be certainly a bonus for them.
Dimaggio almost tipped it into his own basket after the miss by Turner. Sanford, high off the window. The Rocket lead is 7. Michael Huger needs a timeout. And they're on their feet here at Savage. 30-second timeout. Well,
Jalen Sanford has really kind of developed the art of that driving, kind of almost a knuckleball lob up off the backboard, and he makes it look easy. That's a tough shot, especially when you've got the 6'9", 6'10" Wiggins coming at you, and you've got to go over those long arms. And Jalen does it as well as anybody that we've seen.
The transformation really is complete for Jalen Sanford from shooter to scorer. He was mostly known as a spot-up three-point shooter as a freshman, added to his arsenal last year, and now as a junior, I think it's safe to say he is a complete offensive player.
Well, I think part of what you see is credit him being forced into that point guard role last year, where he was running the offense. He was not only creating for himself, but he had to be responsible for getting everybody in the set and get them into it. And it just really, it's really developed his complete game.
Toledo has made 7 consecutive shots. Bowling Green missed 6 of 7. Good defense by Adway. He read the pass. And Fletcher called for a double dribble.
Well, Fletcher was going to get it up. He had Adway flying after the steal, and great defense by Adway there. And we were kind of blocked out of it, but it looked like Fletcher was going to try to fire it up the court and thought better of it at the last minute, and he kind of got himself, he was between dribbles there.
Kind of caught in 2 minds there. This Toledo's second turnover thus far. Caldwell found another gear, lost the handle as he bumped into Marion Jackson. So now 2 turnovers for each team. In transition, that's Nate Navigato, and that's his game.
Well, Navigato again ran all the way to get into the vision of Marion Jackson. Marion pushes it, but if Navigato doesn't get all the way to that corner, Marion's not going to see him, and that's a heads-up play by the junior to get into his good vision.
Dimaggio Wiggins had such a good start. Defense on him has been much better by the Rockets. Lillard was fouled on the way up, and if that's on Taylor Adway, that's 3. We'll see. It is on Adway. Kanapke already at the scorer's table, ready to come in. Toledo really heating up. Dylan Alderson with 2 threes off the bench. And a big flush from Luke Kanapke. Rockets by 10. Well, that was the 3rd foul on Taylor Adway right before the timeout. Look at a slightly different angle here. Jay Gast, what do you think?
Well, again, I guess I'm kind of going to vote on the side of Toledo there. That's kind of a tough call. I don't know that he doesn't get his forearm into his lower back going up. I couldn't really tell from that angle, but certainly I thought it was clean and play on. But I'm a little bit more liberal with that stuff. So
That's a third foul on Taylor Adway, so I would anticipate we'll see Luke Kanapke the next 7 minutes and 43 seconds. He does have one foul. He'll have to defend without fouling for the rest of the half. And one of the things that Toledo doesn't have is a whole lot of front court depth, really just the two centers in Adway and Kanapke. And on very rare occasions when they've both been in foul trouble at the end of a half, we've seen James Gordon IV come off the end of the bench, but he's only played a few minutes all year.
And you may even see if Toledo's got to get Kanapke a blow, you may see Fletcher or Navigado move into that 5 position. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. They kind of show a 1-3-1, trap with the length of the Rockets at that point, just to get Kanapke some minutes and make sure he doesn't get into foul trouble himself.
Lillard split the free throws. Toledo with a 9-point lead, make it 11. Trayshawn Fletcher scoring with the offhand.
Well, there's kind of a stop-and-go move. Fletcher kind of got there, and he read the defense, didn't see Wiggins coming to help to close the seam, and he liked his chances one-on-one, and he took advantage of it.
And nestles in for Dimaggio Wiggins.
Again, Bowling Green is going to pound the ball into Wiggins, Look for Toledo maybe to increase their ball pressure on the perimeter, make it a little more difficult for those guards to take that much time to throw the pass in.
Trayshawn Fletcher feeling it in this first half. He's got 10 points.
Just about every one of them for mid-range jumpers off the dribble, and again, that's a good shot for Fletcher in the offense.
Toledo with their biggest lead of the game to this point of 31-20. Falcons desperately need a basket. That's just what the doctor ordered. Antoine Lillard, a long 2, toes on the line.
Tough matchup for Navigado. They're Lillard's pretty quick and had to back off of him. They gave Lillard just enough space to elevate and knock down the jumper.
Toledo shooting a scintillating 72% so far in this game. They've made 10 consecutive shots. Jackson, 11 in a row. Marion Jackson with his first points of the game.
For fear of being too cocky, I was going to call that one about halfway because that was dead right in front of us. But I didn't want to jinx it in midair. And again, nice step up by our freshman there to knock that in. And a better defensive play on that end. Marion slid from the weak side, and as they tried to feed Wiggins on the drive and slapped that away.
Sanford, count the bucket. They cannot miss.
Well, as I've often said with shooters, once you start making them, that basket looks bigger and bigger. And this wasn't your Jalen Sanford jump shot, but there again, he surprisingly is able to get that high arcer up over the bigs and kisses it gently off the backboard.
Second foul on Antoine Lillard. Dylan Alderson back in as Trayshawn Fletcher goes to the bench. And as that Toledo rotation has expanded, some of the bench guys have seen their minutes increase. For much of the year, Dylan Alderson has pretty reliably gotten about a 4-minute shift in the first half. You don't see him in the second half. A second first half shift for him tonight.
Well, again, you earn your playing time. He knocked down those jump shots. Boy, that's a big clear out by Wiggins there that I think they missed. You can only defend so much, but he really created some extra space there with that inside arm.
Dimaggio Wiggins with 8 points. Sanford goes at him again. A miss, but the follow from Kanapke.
I'm not sure he wasn't too worried about missing that one. I think he saw Kanapke there, and obviously if it had gone in, he would have taken it, but he knew Big Luke was there to clean that one up.
Wiggins with long arms. The pass was a little wide of the mark, but he was able to haul it in anyway. Roger Caldwell played on an outstanding high school team at Huber Heights Wayne with a number of other Division I players as Fry missed the 3. Roger Caldwell played with Trey Landers and Zerius Williams at Dayton, and Amon Wagner, who's at Iowa. Marion Jackson played with a star-studded team at Garfield Heights as well, including his current teammate Willie Jackson.
I'm not sure you say played with or was part of, and including being a star-studded there.
Excellent point.
That's the athlete side of him, Mason.
Frankie Hughes is at Missouri, Sean Christian at Cleveland State, Ron Hartsfield at Youngstown State, all on that Garfield Heights team. Along with the two Jacksons, Willie and Marion went to the same high school but are not related. Matt Fox, a quick trigger, missed the three.
A good defensive possession there by the Rockets. They really moved their feet. They were in help recover the whole time and really kind of forced a bad shot from the Falcons as the shot clock was running down.
Alderson lost the handle for a moment. Toledo not afraid to go deep into the shot clock when they need to. Sanford, well short. Kanapke with the offensive rebound, goes back up. The foul is on the floor. The Rockets in the bonus. They'll be on the free throw line when we come back. That's the second foul on Roderick Caldwell. Toledo putting up video game numbers in this first half. They're shooting 74% from the floor. They're blowing out their rival Falcons by 17. Well, you may have noticed something a little bit different on both benches as Toledo leads Bowling Green by 17. Both sets of coaches wearing sneakers with their suits. It's part of a nationwide Coaches versus Cancer Suits and Sneakers Week, raising both money and awareness for cancer research. A little more comfortable than the wingtips, I would imagine.
Well, I was just sitting there thinking, I do help coach third grade basketball. You think I can wear them to work all week with my suit?
I don't think anyone will mind.
Oh, I'll tell him Mason says it's okay. What a great cause, though. Seriously. And something that I know Coach Kowalczyk has been very passionate about throughout his time. Oh, Mason, we almost had it. They had, we have the T-shirt throw here, and we usually get targeted every so often. So
I do, in particular. Luke Kanapke hitting the first free throw. When you're getting bounces like that from the line, that's how you know it's your night. Kanapke got them both. A terrific free throw shooter at 80%. And just like you said, the possibility of Nate Navigado going to the 5. Willie Jackson comes in. Kanapke will take a rest.
Well, the advantage you have here for Toledo is that Wiggins is on the bench as well. So you can defend a little bit better without having to worry as much about his strong post-up game where you're putting Navigado or Fletcher against that. Even Willie Jackson. Willie's quick enough and strong enough to play a small 5.
Antoine Lillard got a step around Willie Jackson, but missed the shot. Toledo on a 12-2 run. They've made 14 of their last 16 shots. Jackson, an NBA 3, a little long. Sanford, the offensive rebound and stick back.
Well, Toledo is too good offensively. If you're Bowling Green, if they miss, you got to give them one shot. You know, Toledo shoots the ball too well to give them multiple chances like that.
We mentioned earlier, Bowling Green was blown out in their last game by Northern Illinois, 93-62. Michael Huger said, we didn't come ready to play and we weren't ready for a fight. Dylan Fry knocks down the jumper. For the most part in this first half, they haven't looked like they've been up for a fight.
They started out strong. They started out a lot of high energy, very aggressive, and really kind of took it to the Rockets the first couple minutes of the game. But once Toledo settled in and got their legs under them and really kind of in rhythm, it's been all Rockets. As you can see, even Fletcher there's just willing and strengthening it right through the defender. And again, when it's going well for the Rockets, and we'll certainly take it.
Nice cut. Dylan Fry and Justin Turner set him up. Turner has had a quiet game to this point. Bowling Green's leading scorer at 15.6 a game, just 2 first-half points, 1 of 5 from the floor, though he does have 4 rebounds and 3 assists. Talked with Kevin Noon, one of Bowling Green's assistants before tip-off. He said we had shoot-around at our place this morning. Chance for a 3-point play for Jalen Sanford. He said it was our best shoot-around in the 3 years that he had been at Bowling Green, and it has not carried over into the game tonight.
No, it certainly hasn't, and certainly there, as you see Sanford there, and he's able to turn the corner and really beat two defenders. And other than getting fouled, there wasn't a whole lot of contest on that as far as trying to stop Sanford getting along the baseline.
Two men in double figures already for Toledo. Fletcher with 12. Caleb Sanford now with a dozen as well. And in spite of how well Toledo has been playing of late, we've talked at length of the six consecutive wins in league play. I'm not sure anyone expected this. Here's Derek Koch. We'll move on Sanford. Turner goes behind the back. Long on the floater.
Good help by Navigado there, and Marion Jackson sliding into the weak side for the rebounder.
Toledo has shot awfully well all year, but they're defending now in league play. That wasn't always the case for the non-conference portion of the schedule. Fry is called for his second foul.
Well, you're seeing the Rockets really play very good team defense. As far as getting in help position, and we've seen Marion Jackson out a couple times slide from far out on the weak side, that last time getting the long rebound, but I believe also once he dropped down from the weak side wing, was able to deflect a pass to Wiggins, and just being in the right place at the right time defensively can make all the difference in the world.
So Alderson back in for the final minute of the first half. Willie Jackson, a 54.5% free throw shooter, knocks down the first. And shoot-around today, he was standing on the free throw line, and Todd Kowalczyk and his assistants were joking around about simulating the crowd noise. His assistant standing on the lane going,
I'm not sure a lot phases Willie.
In shoot-around, kind of like right there, he made one of the two.
Yeah.
So,
well, he's living up to expectations, I guess.
If Bowling Green could get a bucket before halftime. Turner, nice feed for Koch, who got it to dance in. Derek Koch, the freshman from West Salem, Ohio.
That was a good find by him. And Koch opens up after the screen, and again, he got to the front of the rim and he made himself available for that pass.
Todd Kowalczyk will use his can't take it with you timeout. One of the best around at either drawing up plays in these huddles or reminding his team of plays that he has previously drawn up.
Well, and again, for fear of speaking out of turn, I could almost bet you that timeout was going to be called once Bowling Green scored, because, again, I think we all fall into patterns and habits. And again, this is a coaching and teaching moment. Obviously, the Rockets are in a comfortable 21-point lead at this point, but you don't know how much comfort and too much comfort. So, again, as coaches always do, they're more coaching for their team than what's on the scoreboard, and certainly this is what Coach does, and he wants to get something set out of here that they're confident that they can get the ball in the hands of who they want to, as we've seen Fletcher come back in the game for Alderson now. Run something that they feel they may need to later on, just to see how it works against a team that doesn't know what's coming.
I don't think there would be very good odds on that bet, Jay.
Well, and then we see Bowling Green now, I think for the first time tonight, in a kind of a matchup zone.
DeAndre Austin, a walk-on for Bowling Green out there at the end of the half. Michael Huger maybe making a statement to his guys. Here's Fletcher, an uncontested three.
Well, why not in the half the way it started? And certainly this was as good a half as we've seen the Rockets play, and it ends with an exclamation point of Trayshawn Fletcher behind the three-point line. Again, a good find off the drive and the kick.
The Rockets are being roared into the locker room. An outstanding first half from the Toledo Rockets. Up 54-30 on Bowling Green. A little jump rope for your halftime entertainment. First 20 minutes were awfully entertaining. Toledo up 54-30 on their arch rivals from Bowling Green. We welcome you up to the booth. Mason Lowry with you alongside former Rocket Jay Gast. I have a feeling Jay enjoyed that first half.
Very much so. As much of a first half as we've seen in quite some time, Mason. So, yeah, it was a good half for the Rockets. Phenomenal half for the Rockets.
Yeah, Toledo putting up video game numbers 72% from the floor in that first half. But Bowling Green got off to an awfully good start. Matt Fox burying the deep three, and they started going inside to Dimaggio Wiggins as well.
Well, and they really were wanting to force the ball into Wiggins, which they did. But, Toledo weathered that early 3-4 minute run at the start of the game and then kind of got under themselves and really limited Bowling Green getting out in transition. They didn't give up many fast break points, if any. And, again, Toledo just kind of stayed the course and did the things that they do well. And certainly it treated them well in the first half.
Jalen Sanford started to heat up, and so did Trayshawn Fletcher. And Willie Jackson, I think, really sparked that Toledo run. Got a couple of free throws in there. That big dunk, he had an offensive rebound, had a putback, and then everybody got in on the act, including Dylan Alderson, the freshman, a couple of threes.
Well, and I was just going to say that. You got Willie Jackson coming in, high-energy player, and he actually set up Dylan Alderson for the first jump shot. Willie scored a couple baskets on his own, but credit him with the assist for finding Alderson. I think the Rockets had 10 assists in the first half. Again, good ball movement by the Rockets, and that parlays into the good shooting. Not the great shooting like we saw tonight, but thus far, but normally good shooting. And boy, they're just dead on the entire first half.
Trayshawn Fletcher, 15 first half points, 7 of 8 shooting. You talked about it in that first half. Sometimes once you start to make one or two, that basket gets bigger and bigger and bigger. The joke sometimes is, well, they can't throw it in the ocean. Trayshawn Fletcher and Jalen Sanford right now are throwing it into the ocean. That's how big the basket is.
Well, and they're taking good shots, and they're taking shots within the offense. They're not forcing it. You can see Fletcher, he gets the ball in that high post around the top of the key, and he just kind of sizes up the defense, what he wants to do. And it's almost like he's dictating to the defense where he wants them to go rather than the defense dictating to them where they want him to go. And right now he's going in the scores column because he's just lighting it up on fire on that mid-range jumper off the dribble.
Here's how entertaining that first half was from an offensive standpoint. We didn't even show you Trayshawn Fletcher's three at the first half buzzer. There just wasn't time. There was so many other terrific offensive plays to show you. That really was, in all honesty, as good a first half as we've seen in quite a long time.
Most definitely. And again, I across the offensive board, if we go down through the box score and look at the contributions that each of the Rockets that got on the court made, each one now maybe at Justin Roberts, I don't think he got any shots up, but again, they contributed in their own way, and that's why Toledo is becoming so super efficient offensively. They're not wasting a lot of possessions.
Toledo blowing away their rivals from Bowling Green, up 54-30 here at the half. This is MAC Basketball on ESPN3. Well, the Pop Rocks, our halftime entertainment, getting a standing ovation, a well-earned standing ovation here at Savage Arena. Toledo blowing out Bowling Green 54-30 here at the half. We look at the first half numbers, and we said Toledo scintillating from the floor in the first 20 minutes. Yeah, 72.4%, 5 of 9 from 3. Bowling Green was hot in the first 5 minutes. They were ice cold the next 15, and Toledo the opposite. Really got hot towards the end of the half.
Well, yeah, Toledo started off slow and really took advantage of that last 14, 15 minutes of the half. And again, talking about when you're getting 10 assists as compared to 3 turnovers, that's a great ratio. And Toledo was Fletcher sometimes generates a lot off the drive with the ball in his hand. Sanford we saw a few times, but again, Toledo was really moving the basketball, and that's indicative of the field goal percentage that they shot. They were finding the open guy and taking advantage of it, especially when the ball goes inside and comes back out to those shooters. I think that's the biggest advantage for a jump shooter.
Toledo with 2 in double figures, Trayshawn Fletcher with 15, a dozen from Jalen Sanford. In total, 8 Toledo players scored in that first half. Bowling Green were paced by Dimaggio Wiggins and Dylan Fry, who had 8 points apiece. It's halftime here at Savage Arena. Our halftime score, Toledo 54, Bowling Green 30. Back to the Glass City right after this. Here are your Mid-American Conference standings, and these are up to date for the start of this game, which is the last game of the day in the Mid-American Conference. How about that Ball State-Akron game? Double overtime, 111-106. Ball State taking out the Zips. Ball State will come here to Savage Arena on Tuesday night. And a nice win for Eastern Michigan. Kind of struggling at the start of league play. Went into today just 2-5. Got a big road win at Miami.
Most definitely. Again, we've talked long enough about Mid-American Conference and the balance and parity in all these teams. And you know, we're only not even halfway through the conference play yet, and there's a lot of games to be played. And those numbers and those those teams jockeying for position is going to change a lot in the next week or two.
Let's show you what these teams have coming up. Bowling Green for their next 5 at home. That's going to be a big stretch for these Falcons. They'll host an Ohio team that is struggling mightily, dealing with a lot of injuries in league play. See a Kent State team that really had Toledo on the ropes last Saturday in the Rockets' last home game. Go to Ball State. That's a Friday night game on ESPNU, and then Eastern Michigan and Western Michigan.
Well, again, when you're struggling, and obviously Bowling Green struggled, at Northern last game, and this half didn't go the way they wanted it. Coming home 4 or 5 out of 4 of the 5 games could kind of help, and a little bit of home cooking in their home fans, and could hopefully get them, for the Falcon fans back on the right direction.
Here's the next 5 for Toledo. Big one with Ball State on Tuesday night. Then they'll go to Akron, Northern Illinois at home, at Miami, and home with Ohio. Toledo will try to keep the momentum going. They've won 6 in a row in the league, well on their way to a 7th straight conference win tonight.
Well, again, here in about another hour or so, depending on how this one finishes up, all Toledo sites are going to be on that Ball State game, because once this one's over, the next one thing is important is the next one in front of you. And Ball State will be huge coming in here Tuesday night, no matter how this one ends in the second half.
Ball State, who swept Toledo last year. A 24-point lead for the Rockets here at their break. 54 points. They hung on the Falcons in the first 20 minutes. Second half action right after this on ESPN. Well, the campus is quiet, I imagine, at the University of Toledo tonight, because everybody is right here inside Savage Arena. 7,000 strong. We've been treated to a terrific display of offensive basketball from the Toledo Rockets, though perhaps an offensive display if you're a Bowling Green fan. They come into the second half trailing by 24. Mason Lowry with former Rocket Jay Gast. Great to have you with us. Jay, what are you looking for second half?
Well, I think if you're Bowling Green, you've got to become even more aggressive defensively and try to create turnovers, increase your possessions, and be content to take it possession by possession to dig into this lead. Toledo, keep on keeping on. I mean, just keep pushing, keep moving the ball. You almost kind of hated for the halftime to come, because Toledo had such momentum through that last 12 minutes of the half that you hated to kind of stop it.
That's a good start for Bowling Green. They forced the turnover. Justin Turner tried to go coast to coast, but rejected by Jalen Sanford.
Sanford is very deceptive defensively as far as getting those block shots. You can see him here coming, and his timing is impeccable, and good defensive play by Jalen.
Matt Fox made just his second start of the season tonight. Made an early 3. Those are his only points. Dimaggio Wiggins fouled before the shot. I think they'll get Marion Jackson for the reach. No, it's 4 on Taylor Adway.
Wow.
Anyway, not too happy with that. He's played just 12 minutes so far. 4 fouls. We'll see a lot more of Luke Kanapke the rest of the way.
Well, I would expect us to see a little bit more of that smaller lineup as well. We'll look for when Wiggins goes out of the game, Kanapke to go out of the game as well.
Nice finish. Justin Turner from Detroit.
Well, right on cue also, Bowling Green, they extended defensively a couple possessions in the first half, but they're going to have to just really come after the Rockets. You see a little bit more forceful full-court pressure that time.
Easy 2 for Nick Navigado. Nice speed on the wing from Trayshawn Fletcher. Justin Turner of Bowling Green, we mentioned the top freshman scorer in the conference. First game of the season against Drexel. First 2 times he touched the ball, threw up an air ball, then was called for traveling. In the end, went off for 33 points. so he can fill it up in a hurry. Almost didn't end up at Bowling Green. Michael Huger was sitting around in his office in the spring. Team needed a two-guard. Kanapke, chance for a three-point play. He was fouled by Dimaggio Wiggins. Team needed a two-guard. Said to Anthony Stacy, whatever happened to that Justin Turner guy? Coach Stacy got on the phone, had a really good conversation with him on a Monday, and by Friday he was committed.
Certainly a big pickup for Bowling Green, but so was Nate Navigato there. What a lead pass to Kanapke. He pushed Wiggins high on that post-up screen, and there was no weak side help whatsoever. And Big Luke was able to finish it and get the foul on Wiggins.
And Trayshawn Fletcher with the offensive rebound, and Dylan Fry reached in. You call Nate Navigato a good pickup, and here's why. He was committed to Buffalo, originally out of Geneva High School in Geneva, Illinois. Got out of that commitment when Bobby Hurley left Buffalo to take the head coaching job at Arizona State. Tom Kowalczyk, who had recruited him heavily prior to that, got back in the fold, and before too long, Navigato was committed. Sanford tried the lob for Kanapke. I guess that's the time to try it when you're up by 26.
Well, you want to reward the big guy for extending that possession. Kanapke was able to tip it out long and get a long rebound for the Rockets and give him a chance to continue it on there, but it's just Wiggins was just able to get a hand on it.
The same situation with the Rocket freshman Dylan Alderson. He was committed to Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Nate Navigato, that's a move he didn't have a season ago, and the lead has ballooned to 28. So Alderson, committed to Wisconsin-Milwaukee, was let out of his letter of intent when Laval Jordan went from Milwaukee to Butler. And another case where Toledo had been recruiting him for 2.5 years before he committed to Milwaukee. Got in on him again, and here he is playing a vital role for Toledo off the bench. Fletcher had 15 points in the first half. Finally misses one. It was 7 of 8 from the floor before halftime. Turner from the foul line. Falcon offense hasn't really looked in sync for the most part tonight, has it?
Well, again, when you compare it to Toledo's offense and how well the ball moves and it touches so many of the Toledo Rockets' hands, you're not seeing that as much with Bowling Green. And that's just unforgivable when you got 4 Falcons there and 1 Rocket. And there's Navigato stepping in. And again, over and over again, I know you get tired of hearing me, Mason, but I love when that ball is down low and gets kicked back out to the Zooters, because that's what I would love to have been, stepping into that shot right there like Nate Navigato.
I never get tired of hearing you, Jay. Michael Huger, head in his hands, calls a timeout. A Fletcher offensive rebound leads to the Navigato 3. The Rockets lead by 31. Well, this one has been mostly Toledo, up 63-32 on Bowling Green, and this, I have a feeling, is the perfect birthday present for our pal Bruce Gradkowski. Today is his birthday. I'm sure there was nothing he wanted more than a big win over the Falcons, and, well, happy birthday, pal.
Happy birthday, Bruce, and I got to know Bruce a little bit. I was fortunate to be honored in the Hall of Fame here some years ago, and I came in the same class with Bruce and some other Rockets, and got to know him quite a bit during that process, and certainly he's a fine ambassador, not only the University of Toledo, but our entire Toledo community here, and he's been a great asset and a good friend.
Thrilled as Bruce Gradkowski may be, Michael Huger is probably distressed in equal measure. You know how bad he wants to beat Toledo. He started Bowling Green back in the early 90s. One of their all-time great three-point shooters, was first-team All-MAC as a senior. Justin Turner will head to the free throw line. Played at Bowling Green under Jim Larinaga, then coached under him and George Mason in Miami before taking the head coaching job. He, of course, is from New York, so when he got to campus, he had a couple of Toledoans, and Derek Kaiser, father of Deshaun Kaiser, and Ed Colbert on the Bowling Green team with him, who were high school stars in Toledo. They told him all about this rivalry and what it means to the region.
And he's not that quick timeout. not so much the Navigato three, it was what led before it. And you had 4 Falcons around, and Fletcher just wanted the ball more than they did and came away with it. And again, someone that's as competitive as Coach Huger, that's just not acceptable.
He's got one of the all-time great Falcons on his coaching staff as well. We mentioned Anthony Stacy earlier, BG's all-time leading scorer at almost 2,000 points. Nate Navigato to the free throw line. He was followed by Matt Fox.
Navigato has a size advantage over Matt in that regard. He just slowly backed him down, worked him down, very patient until he got what Nate thought he wanted to try to do to make his move, and he drew a foul off of it.
Nate Navigato, one of the best three-point shooters in the league at 43.5%. It's been cold from the outside, though, in his last 2 games. Well, that's the members' bounce, isn't it?
Well, and I guess if you're from the Rockets, that's kind of the way it's gone the whole night, fortunately. Yeah, he hasn't got as many good looks the last couple games for Nate, but again, he's developed into a more well-rounded player to where, you know, it doesn't affect his ability to play defense and rebound and create for the other. He just plays through it, and again, the shooters keep on shooting, and he's going to get it back.
Nice finish in traffic by Daquan Plowden. His first points, the freshman from Philadelphia, 2 times All-State in Pennsylvania. He's going to be a good one with his body type, 6'6", very, very athletic. By the time he's an upperclassman, he might be an all-MAC kind of player too. Fletcher didn't get the bounce, or did he? I thought maybe Kanapke tipped it in. They may give it to Fletcher.
I think they gave it to Fletcher, so because if it was Kanapke, it might have been offensive goaltending. I'm not sure it came off the rim.
Well, a quick 5-point swerve from Daquan Plowden. Plowden carried a 3.9 GPA in high school from Bowling Green with the intention of studying business. Both Bowling Green and Toledo, great places to study business. Fletcher trying to feed Kanapke, I think, in the paint. A little behind him. And Plowden with the last 7 and possibly 8 now for the Falcons. That's the kind of energy that Michael Huger wants to see.
Well, that's most definitely why he's in the game. And conversely now, if you're at Toledo, you do not take your foot off the gas pedal. You've got to keep pushing and outplay everybody out there. So don't let your guard down if you're the Rockets.
Plowden to the free throw line when we come back. Daquan Plowden will be at the free throw line. Toledo already out on the lane. Bowling Green still in their timeout huddle. Michael Huger with a lot of points he would like to make, I'm sure, in this second half. Tom Kowalczyk has seen his team play some brilliant basketball for the game, still shooting 70.3%. 5 of 8 so far from the floor second half, and that has brought their shooting average down just a touch.
I'm going to say it's tough to be critical of 5 of 8, but when you're 21 of 29 or whatever it was in the first half, I guess expectations rise. So Plowden certainly, since in that timeout segment, brought a lot of energy to the Falcons and has really made his impact in that minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Plowden knocks in the free throw. He's not been good from the line this year, just 38.5% from the stripe. Inbounds pass wasn't there for Trayshawn Fletcher, so wisely he uses the timeout. You and I were talking off-air in the first half about the remarkable improvement that Toledo has made over the course of this season, and really we think it's down to the 2 guys that you see right there, backs to the camera. Willie Jackson on the left, Trayshawn Fletcher on the right.
And I would include Marion Jackson in that as well for a freshman. But when you're talking Willie and Trayshawn, there's a degree of toughness that they have brought and instilled throughout the team. It's not a junkyard dog mentality, as it were, as you see some players, but just a toughness. And they've developed into that, and of course with Willie adding the 9-player rotation. The Rockets have started to play with a little more attitude, a little bit more of a chip on their shoulder.
That's how you beat the press. Fletcher to Kanapke. Kanapke now with 10. Kanapke has shown marvelous improvement over the last couple of years. Redshirted his true freshman season, so he could put on about 25 pounds. Fry with a 3 from the top. Fry now 11 points. Sophomore from Miami. Out of bounds. Well, they'll talk about it. Will be Toledo basketball. Antoine Lillard in the ear of the official. Michael Huger protesting. And will it stay with Bowling Green now? I think it will.
I think they pointed in the wrong direction after they conferred. They were so excited, and and I'll actually, I think that was the right call.
I think so too. Well, not often do you have to issue 2 corrections on out-of-bounds plays like that. Fletcher with an authoritative rebound. Fletcher with 17 points, 9 boards, 6 assists.
If Bowling Green keeps up this pressure full court throughout the second half, it's going to be a good learning experience for the Rockets having to face that, not knowing when you're going to run into it down the road, especially in MAC tournament time, where a team is really trying to amp up the speed of the game.
Blocking foul on Derek Cope. Got to campus, weighed about 260 pounds. He's dropped 20 to 25. The all-time leading rebounder in Ohio high school history, 1,378 rebounds over 4 years of high school. Had a lot of scholarship offers, including the likes of West Virginia, but felt at home at Bowling Green. We were talking with the Bowling Green coaches before tip-off. They like him an awful lot.
Well, he's got a good game, and I'm just sitting there trying to compute all those rebounds in high school. That's a lot of missed shots.
Yes, I suppose it is. And with your mentality as a player, I guess that is how you would have looked at it.
Doing the numbers.
Jay Gast, 1,000-point scorer here at Toledo, but he's always quick to point out that was before the three-point line, which Trayshawn Fletcher uses to his advantage.
And I haven't mentioned that in a bunch of games, Mason, but thank you for bringing it up. Thank you.
Fletcher now with 20 points. Cope, 31% shooter from the outside, and he buries it.
Well, he had enough room there, and I'm not sure if Kanapke was really interested in coming out and guarding him out there to make him earn it. And now you know he can hit the shot. So.
Foul called on Bowling Green. And just to finish up that point on Derek Coke and the rebounding record, that was a record that had stood in the state of Ohio since 1973. So really a once-in-a-lifetime rebounder.
At whatever level, that's a lot. That's super aggressive basketball and going to get it. And that's quite an honor.
Dylan Alderson has checked in. Hit those 2 first-half threes. Picked up by Fry. And here's Roderick Caldwell ahead of the pack.
Again, Bowling Green, if they get the opportunity, want to get out in transition, defense to offense, and the turnover created gave them the opportunity for that one.
Arion Jackson, we talked about him, a player growing in confidence every game for Toledo. Had a career-high 15 points in the 85-81 win over Western Michigan on Tuesday. Great block by Plowden, not afraid of the 6'11 Luke Kanapke, and here's Lillard to the other end. The foul called on Toledo. Did Willie Jackson.
Foul number 23, Willie Jackson, his first personal foul.
First foul on Willie, the transfer from Missouri. Tonight's official attendance, by the way, 6,812.
Great turnout by Rocket fans with a few spattering of Bowling Green people, but the Rocket faithful really turned out these last couple of games, and certainly if they're not at home watching us on ESPN3, they should be out here watching it in person, and Rockets are putting on a good show for them.
You and I were musing before tip-off what a win in this game might do for the Toledo fan base, who were immense in the win over Kent State last home game a week ago. Talked with Jason Kelso, the Rockets lead assistant, this morning, and he said that the fans really carried them the last 4 minutes. He thought they made all the difference. And we both kind of came to the same conclusion. A loss in this game, the foul is on the floor before the shot, so the basket won't count. a loss wouldn't really hurt in terms of fan perception of the team and the program, but a win, certainly a blowout win, would really help.
Well, again, you've got a lot of people in here. This team is a lot of fun to watch. Again, the style of play that they're playing, they're really kind of setting the standard for Toledo basketball, and well worth it for people to come out to watch the games. And as they continue to win and win against quality opponents and have quality wins and playing the right way, I can't doubt that there'll be more and more Rocket fans continue to come out to watch them. If they don't, they should, because this team is pretty special thus far.
Jalen Sanford took it right at Justin Turner late in the shot clock. That's Koch, who's already hit one in the second half. Too strong that time. The rebound tip to Nate Navigato.
Good decision by Marion there to back it out. He didn't have the numbers. He pushed it and didn't see, and very smart play by the freshman.
Navigato cutting. He'll hit the line. Nate Navigato, the junior from Geneva, Illinois, will shoot two after the timeout. Toledo up 24 on Bowling Green. Well, we've talked at length about the great crowd here tonight, the terrific student turnout in particular. For the most part, got the memo about tonight's whiteout. They've made a lot of noise. They're here in great numbers. They've really been terrific.
Well, and, college students, some of those shirts could have been white, a day or two ago, and depending on how they washed them or dried them, who knows. But, back in the day, I think I had to do a load of laundry or two myself and didn't do very well with it.
I was lucky when I was in college that I didn't live too far away from home, so every weekend, hey, Mom, can you do my laundry for me? She knew what to do.
But, no, seriously, having the Rocket fans, especially the student body, out tonight so much, as, the other night against Kent, it's a bonus. And certainly it adds to the enthusiasm in the arena. And, it's as exciting for us as it is. It's got to even be more exciting for the players to have that much fan support behind them.
4 in double figures for Toledo. Trayshawn Fletcher leading everyone with 20. Jalen Sanford has chipped in with 14. 15 from Nate Navigato. Now 14 and 10 from Luke Kanapke, along with 6 rebounds.
Well, Navigato's have been kind of quiet, actually, if you can say 14 points. But, I just looked at the box score, and he kind of quietly got up there.
Catch and shoot 3 goes for Justin Turner. And credit Bowling Green, they were down big at halftime. Toledo has led by as many as 32 points in the second half. They haven't quit.
No, they've kept coming at it, and they're chipping away at it, possession by possession, and they just got to get some Toledo stops. And now they're going to be in the bonus pretty much the rest of the half, just the last 11 minutes. And Toledo's one of the better free throw shooting teams around. So we talked about it early in the game. Toledo needs to get to the free throw line, and simply said, the team that in this rivalry that has shot the most free throws in any game has been the one that's come out victor in the last several years. So it's going to be a key the rest of the way for the Rockets.
Now all 9 Toledo players that have seen the floor have scored. Austin Roberts, the sophomore backup point guard, missed the second free throw. Really the guy that has turned things around in the second half for Bowling Green is Daquan Plowden off the bench. He went on a 9-2 run at one point. Caldwell out to Koch. Rattles home the 3.
Well, he was able to step in and size that up. Kanapke had come to help Roberts off the drive, and Koch was wide open. And no way Kanapke could get back out on that one. Well, I thought Nate was going to pull the trigger on that one.
I thought he was too.
His head and shoulder fake even got me sitting up here.
Roberts to the basket. That's not something you see every day.
I was just going to say that, Mason, that, Justin looks to shoot when he's open, but he doesn't really look to score himself much, and it was just so wide open for him. I don't think he could turn it down.
Turner, just 3 of 10 from the floor tonight, but there he gave it up to Daquan Cloud. Cloud now with 11 points. That ties his career high. He had 11 in the win over Miami as well. Nate Navigado cannot answer. Alderson, though, kept it alive. Navigado will get another crack at it. That one goes.
2 for a quarter again. You know, if at first you don't succeed, shoot it again, and I'll take our chances with Nate anytime. A nice find by Fletcher there on the reversal pass. I'm not sure if it wasn't Dylan Alderson that kept that possession going on the miss. Where he was able to kick it back out off the. He can't get it himself. His hands on it, but he's able to slap it out high. And a lot of Rockets have done that very well over the years under Coach Kowalczyk.
Robert Caldwell was bumped. Dylan Alderson has got a lot of plaudits lately. Trayshawn Fletcher in particular has talked about how well he has guarded people. Really improved defensively as the season has progressed. And one of the first things when you talk to Todd Kowalczyk about him before the start of the season was he's got a college-ready body. He's 6'5", 200 pounds. Looks like he could go out and play middle linebacker for you. In fact, Jason Candle might want to consider that next season, though I have a feeling Todd Kowalczyk won't give him up. Sanford and Marion Jackson check back in.
Well, and again, as we talked about in the first half, these guys are, these guys are all making contribution. Whatever it is, whatever their role is, they're whether it's just in practice helping the team get better, whether it's your minutes on the floor, but this run for Toledo has been a total team effort.
Derek Coates to the foul line. He was bumped by Luke Kanapke.
Number 30, Luke Kanapke, his second personal. Team 6. The line is shooting a 2 for Bowling Green, number 40.
This has been a long stretch for Kanapke as well. If you remember, Adway picked up his 4th foul very early in the second half, and Big Luke's gotten a long run of minutes here and performed very well and really stayed out of foul trouble himself for fear of jinxing him. But he's played aggressively at both ends of the floor and been able to stay out there.
Dylan Fry back in with 4 fouls for Bowling Green. You've talked a lot about Marion Jackson this year. One of the things I really like about him, and I've seen quite a bit of him, there's an easy 2 for Trayshawn Fletcher. He doesn't try to do too much, does he? Very comfortable in this role as maybe the 4th offensive option. It's part of a really potent offense. Kanapke with a big block. Toledo's leading shot blocker, 1.5 rejections per game.
Well, Marion doesn't lag for confidence, but he's also smart in the fact that he knows he's a freshman. He's coming into a program that has some pretty seasoned veterans, including Fletcher being his first year. And he's found his niche, he's found his role, and he's earned their respect and certainly from being a starting point guard right from the first game.
Justin Turner over Sanford. Kanapke with the board, taken right back by Koch, who missed the bunny. Will help out Kanapke's effort for a double-double, I suppose. 10 points, 8 rebounds.
In a backwards sort of way on that one. So
Kanapke having a really good season, averaging 10.8 points, 6.2 rebounds a game. The defenders converge on Nate Navigado, and the Rockets take a timeout with 6 seconds left on the shot clock.
Well, they recognize the shot clock was running down, and Navigado got trapped there in the mid-post. And Kanapke's was trying to get out behind the line, but he just couldn't get there and get in his vision quick enough.
Nate Navigado quietly putting together a really good game. He's got 17 points. He's knocked down 3 threes, giving the Falcons nightmares again. Well, everybody has contributed to the offensive cause for Toledo, but Trayshawn Fletcher really set the tone in that first half. He's got a game-high 22 points now for the game. 22 points on 13 shots. And not only that, he's in triple-double territory here, potentially. 22 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists.
How about that? Again, he's created most of his baskets off of those short dribbles just create enough room for himself to go up and get the shots after that drive. But he still has the court awareness to get those. What would you say? He's at 7 assists. So he's seeing the floor, and he does attract so much attention when he's got the basketball that it's real easy for these other guys to get open.
Fletcher with 1 second left on the shot clock. Out of the timeout. Trey Shaw now with 24 points. The Rocket offensive onslaught continues. Plowden coming up short from 3. Toledo closing in on a 7th consecutive win in the MAC. Only lost to Buffalo in the league opener, 104-94 in New York. Fletcher now with 26. One at the end, 1-2. Wasn't going to get it though.
With the right hand that time.
And not the first time he's gone to the offhand tonight. Fry clangs the jumper. Fletcher now with that double-double, 26 and 10. Question now is, can he get 3 assists?
Well, there's one.
Now it's 8 dimes for him. All of Kanapke's points tonight have come from about 6 inches and in.
That's good shooting percentage. That's
12 points, 5 of 6 shooting. 2 of 3 from the line.
You know, it's just been nice to watch these Rockets and having watched guys like Luke and Navigato expand their game in the last couple of years since they've been here. Again, you see Navigato, that's the second time he's had a strong blockout in the last couple of possessions. And what goes without saying is Coach Kowalczyk and the staff and what they do and the time that they put in with these guys, working on their individual skills away from the team concept.
Kanapke's got range too, apparently.
Well, and working with Luke Turner on that. I mean, again, we kind of forget that the coaches are investing a lot of effort in these guys, and these players are getting better as individual players, not just a team, and that speaks volumes for their commitment and the staff.
Bowling Green takes a timeout. The Rocket lead has ballooned back up to 30. They've ripped off 10 consecutive points. The Falcons scoreless the last 2 minutes, 55 seconds.
You know, you can remember back, Mason, when Steve Taylor was here and he was in the red shirt year and Luke was in the red shirt year. And, coming out a couple hours beforehand. And I think Steve Taylor's responsible for some of Kanapke's development just because he worked a lot with him and the work ethic and the strength and the footwork. And, again, I can remember times, in years long gone where these guys weren't getting better as players individually. Certainly you want to see them improve as a team, but in order to do that, you have to develop your individual skills as well, and I think we're seeing that a lot with these Rockets right now. You know what's pretty cool, too, is you start looking at these camera angles, and these people aren't leaving.
Anyone that is leaving is wearing orange and brown.
But they... this is great to see the fans, and not to say this game's out of hand because you never say never. But, at a 30-point lead with 6.5 minutes to go, and most of these people are staying in their seats, and, how special is that?
Dylan Fry hasn't really been able to get hot tonight. That jumper. He does have 11 points. Been saddled with foul trouble. He's out there with 4 at the moment. Taylor Adway out there with 4 as well for Toledo. Stay with Toledo out of bounds. You were thinking assist number 9 for Fletcher.
Kanapke, I went out on a limb. I could see he was a little more open. They closed a little harder on Taylor that way, and so I didn't want to, put the cart before the horse.
Navigato a catch and shoot 3. Fry running it down. Joniah Ganson is out there for Bowling Green, a big freshman from Miami Gardens, Florida. Making his 12th appearance of the season. Long 2 out there for Roderick Caldwell.
We haven't seen for a long, long time has been Wiggins.
Yeah. First seat on the bench next to the scorer's table. Only played 14 minutes, 8 points, 1 rebound. Fletcher pushed it to Alderson. The runner. Gotta go off his hand. Here comes Caldwell. Trailer here is Antoine Lillard.
Yeah, the trailer is exactly right. Lillard took his time getting down the floor, and Toledo's defense basically dropped to the line of the ball and kicked it back out again to Lillard, and he was able to line that one up.
The turnover and then booted out of bounds.
Out of bounds, Advantage basketball.
Sanford back in, and Trayshawn Fletcher will have to wait at least one more game for that elusive triple-double. I'm not sure he's too happy about that either. 26 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists. Smile on the face of Justin Ingram. Toledo great seated next to him on the bench. In fact, two fan favorite Toledo players on Todd Kowalczyk's staff. Justin Ingram and, of course, Jordan Love, a more recent Toledo cult hero. Really came on the second half of his senior season. Todd Kowalczyk had always said, yeah, he gives us a lot of defense and a lot of energy and hustle and all good things, but he needs to produce statistically, and he did. I remember he was terrific in the regular season finale up at Eastern Michigan last year that assured Toledo hosting a first-round game of the MAC tournament. Ended up being against Bowling Green, a game that they won.
Well, he certainly became more than just an energy player there. That during his senior season, he really contributed, all throughout his career defensively. But he worked hard and worked on his scoring, especially his jump shot, and really became a threat offensively for the Rockets. And he and both Justin Ingram have been a great addition to this staff. And Jordan kind of the bridge to some of the more recent players, and Justin to some of the more senior alumni guys, and trying to get, as we said last week, get some of the old guys involved and back around the program. His basketball knowledge aside, Justin seems to have a very good relationship that he's gained with some of these Rocket players in just a short period of time he's been on staff.
Now I've asked Todd Kowalczyk about both of those guys and what they brought to the table as coaches, and he says, hey, if those two can figure out the recruiting game, and that's never an easy thing when you're still kind of new as an assistant coach, certainly at this level, they'll make terrific coaches one day.
Well, not only recruiting, but also a judge of talent. When you're at a Toledo level and competing, you really have to be able to evaluate talent and where to direct your limited manpower and resources in the recruiting game. What a find by Sanford! Wow.
Sanford a long offensive rebound, and Edway throws it down.
Wow. That was a great find by Sanford. They weren't able to knock down the jump shot, but boy, tremendous court vision there. I thought he was going to try to dump it in the corner to Alderson and get it back out to the top of the keg. Jackson missed the shot.
Toledo continuing to pour it on. 3:41 remaining. The Rockets on the verge of 100 points against Bowling Green. Well, we talked before the timeout about Toledo having a couple of Rocket greats on their coaching staff. That's Jeremiah Bonsu. He's a graduate assistant on this Bowling Green team. Folks, he's got a terrific backstory. Was on the high school basketball team his senior season at Pickerington North High School down near Columbus. His senior season, scored 1 point as a high school basketball player. Ended up as a student manager on the men's team at the University of Dayton because they suddenly needed guys due to injuries and other crises. He started to suit up for the team in spite of playing one season of high school ball, scoring that 1 point, got in 2 games at Dayton, the epitome of a grinder in this game. Wants to become a college coach, and he's well on his way. We talked with the Bowling Green staff before the start of this one. They had nothing but high praise for what he has brought to the table so far. Living out his basketball dream. That's such a neat story.
Well, it's kind of the epitome of what college basketball should be. Not all the horror stories and all the ugly stories and all the things that come out. It's stuff like that that kind of reinforces your opinion of the good that it is.
Bonsu keeping stats on the end of the bench, and if you want to become a college head coach one day, that's where it starts.
Well, if nothing else, you got to be able to figure out what the stats are when you're the head coach. So might learn to keep them. And again, just being around the operations of the programs and you know the inner workings of everything. And Coach Kowalczyk does the same thing with some of his young men and that are on the student staff. And I've gotten to know quite a few of them through some of the events and functions that go on. And just they work every bit as hard and as dedicated to the success of the program as the players do. Their roles are different, but they certainly invest just as much in it in their own way. And neither team could function without them.
James Gordon the fourth is in the game for Toledo. Number 0. Played his senior season of high school in Chicago Simeon. Averaged 13 points a game there. Justin Turner with a basket. Dwayne Rose Jr. out there as well. Kind of hoping we would see James Gordon battling it out with Dimaggio Wiggins at some point. Fans of The Simpsons might appreciate this. Dimaggio Wiggins, of course, a star at Springfield High School just outside of Toledo. James Gordon IV is from Shelbyville, Kentucky. Simpsons fans will know what I'm talking about. Jay may not, but Simpsons fans will.
Shelbyville, Kentucky, I got. And, that one I can. Other than that, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
I used that line last year when these two teams played. As far as I'm concerned, it's an oldie but a goodie.
And I remembered that because as you started, I thought, this sounds familiar. We've done this before. And I guess I should have boned up more on it in anticipation of this game coming and you pulling stuff out of the old chest of statements there. But next year I'll be ready for you.
Dusting off an old chestnut. The mind of Jay Gast is a steel trap, by the way.
It's something. I'm not sure if that's what I'd call it, but it's
Derek Koch at the foul line for the Falcons. Toledo on the verge of scoring 100 points for the first time this year. Playing 116 on Trine in their exhibition game back in early November. Koch missing the corner 3 off the fingertips of Gordon. Will stay with Bowling Green. Falcons will fall to 12-9 overall and 3-5 in the league. A third consecutive loss for them. Dwayne Rose went airborne. Lillard couldn't take advantage. Dwayne Rose to the free throw line. Dwayne Rose, a player that was in the Toledo rotation at the start of the year, has fallen out of it as MAC play has progressed. But what little we've seen of him, we know he has the potential to be an explosive, high-end offensive player for sure. Explosive
is exactly the word that I'm going to use. I think, again, offensively, I think he's probably in sync with everything. Transitioning to the collegiate game and the intensity and what it takes to play defensively, and that, everyone at this level has an elevated skill set. And, obviously, I think if he sticks with it, and I'm sure he will, he's going to be a solid player for the Rockets in the future. Then he'll find his niche and he'll find his place in the rotation. And you recognize some of his minutes declined when Willie Jackson became eligible, and and again, as you kind of go different directions once you start conference play, his minutes really kind of dwindled away.
Dwayne Rose Jr. from Crete, Illinois, the nephew of Derrick Rose. Lane violation on Toledo.
Yeah, James Gordon pulled a Bart Simpson there and stepped on the line.
Don't have a cow, Jay. Dwayne Rose, by the way, perfect 11 for 11 from the free throw line this year. Koch, short on the 3. Toledo's slogans this year has been count by threes. An outstanding three-point shooting team all season. Dr. Walter wants to see this team attempt as many as possible. They average about 25 three-point attempts per game. Didn't get the roll. Gordon fighting for the offensive rebound, but couldn't hang on. Attempted just 16. They've made 8 of them. So their three-point shooting percentage will stay roughly where it is, around 42%.
The mid-range game was really there, especially for Trayshawn Fletcher creating off the dribble. He got into that 15, 16-foot range quite often, was very effective at it. So I guess he didn't see Simpson spending too much time behind the line.
That's Matt Schaefer, walk-on from nearby Sylvania's Southview High School, who's in for Toledo. They call him Smiley, always has a smile on his face, valuable member of the scout team. Very good outside shooter, too. That's DeAndre Austin, a transfer from the College of Worcester. And Vic Patrick Harris out there as well, as Todd Kowalczyk has emptied his bench. There's a good look at Matt Schaefer. A rare shot of him not smiling.
He's on defense. You're not supposed to smile
That's
when you play
true.
defense.
That is true. You certainly don't want to smile at a player like Dylan Fry, as good a three-point shooter as he is. Matt Fox, the former walk-on. Ethan Good, unable to connect from beyond the arc. Tough rebound by James Gordon. Ethan Good, a sophomore from Wapakoneta. Didn't quite come off. Rose was hoping to get the foul called and head back to the free throw line. Vic Patrick Harris, number 10, who's out there for the Rockets, a great story, was a manager on this team last year, scored 3 points so far this season. Dylan Fry attacking the basket. Worked as an intern this summer with Synergy Construction Group in accounts payable. He's a finance major. Really smart young man and one of the leaders of the Toledo scout team in practice. Nice spin move by James Gordon along the baseline. He got by Janiah Gadsden.
He felt the pressure from behind and just a quick drop step spin move right to the baseline and found himself open. That's a good move by Gordon.
A minute to play, and the only question now is, will Toledo get to 100? Gadsden, he traveled.
Gadsden was too wide open there. He really kind of just took a little stutter step there, but he was all bracing himself for the slam and just got a little bit ahead of himself.
Rocket students starting to chant one more point. 2 more points. Vic Patrick Harris. Well, the students love that. First 100-point outing of the season for Toledo. Harris really earned that one, by the way.
Yes, he did.
I think the roof would have caved in if he had made that one.
There's something about the fans in that 100 number, isn't it?
Absolutely is. So this crowd of 6,800 here at Savage Arena on their feet as the final seconds tick away. Toledo in the end shoots 67% from the floor. And they leave Bowling Green in the dust. They win it 101-75. A 7th consecutive win for Toledo, and they remain 3 games ahead of the pack in the West.
Well, again, just an outstanding. I don't know if I have the adjectives for the Rockets on this one. They played a phenomenal game and really just firing on all cylinders. I thought when you shoot 72% in the first half and you only trail off to whatever it was, high 60% there in the second half, that shows you how efficient and productive that you are on the offensive end. They got good shots. They moved the ball, played well together, and it was a lot of fun.
Toledo now 15-6 overall, 7-1 in the MAC. Bowling Green falls to 12-9, 3-5 in conference play, and the alma mater probably sounds pretty good after a resounding win over your arch rivals in Bowling Green. We talked about it. 2 schools 20 minutes apart. battle for Northwest Ohio bragging rights. And Bowling Green got off to a good start. Scored the game's first 5 points, but it was Katie bar the door after that for Toledo.
Well, we saw Willie Jackson finish with that emphatic dunk, and he made several plays, both scoring and a kick out to Dylan Alderson for a 3 that really kind of energized the Rockets. And that's kind of what that bench team takes, they look at and really kind of take pride in the fact that they come in and up the momentum.
I love the energy from a Bowling Green standpoint that Daquan Plowden brought them in the second half. At one point, he went on a 9-2 run basically by himself, but in the end, just way too much Toledo all across the board.
Well, and again, Coach Kowalczyk's had some pretty good runs here for Toledo since he's been here. I'm not sure this 10 or 11 game stretch that they're on is the stretch that they're running on right now isn't as good as it's been in many, many, many years. And these guys are playing phenomenal, great basketball, not only because they're winning, but it's the way they're winning and it's the way they're playing together at both ends of the floor.
Well, the last time Toledo went on a run like this was that 2013-2014 season when the Rockets won 27 games and got to the NIT, and that was a team that had Ryan Pearson, Juice Brown, Justin Drummond, Nathan Booth, and so on and so on. And a lot of people have said that's the best Toledo team in a long time. And I think right now you have to look at this team, talk about them in the same breath.
I like the way this team plays. That team had different types of players. Nothing to take away from those guys because they were a phenomenal group and certainly were very, very good and earned everything that they got. This unit is efficient and coexists because of each other. And that's the thing that shows to me, and that's why they're winning basketball games in so many different ways that maybe they're not always playing their best at a certain facet of the game, so they make it up in other spots, and that's what I really like about this group.
Your end-of-game numbers, Toledo plus 15 on the glass. The Rockets shoot 62% from the floor in the second half, and it brought their game shooting percentage down by about 10%, 67%. You will have to watch basketball for a really, really long time to see a team that is as in rhythm and on schedule as this Rocket team has been lately.
Well, and again, we look at the numbers there. They're 8 of 17 from behind the three. And we talk about them really not being on their game behind the three-point line. They were almost 50%.
Yeah.
So, again, with success comes raised expectations. So they're not going to shy away from that. And, you like the rebounds. I like the 19 assists. I think that, again, goes back to the quality of how they're running their offense because they're creating a lot of baskets off of passing and cutting. Trayshawn Fletcher got quite a few off the dribble there in the first half, particularly where he was dribbling into that mid-post area and getting his own shots. But, so much of their offense is predicated off of them sharing the basketball and moving and getting good looks. And everyone's touching the ball, so everybody's contributing, and this was just a wallop.
It's a Bowling Green offense, too, that's really predicated on getting out and moving quickly. They only got 4 fast break points tonight. Todd Kowalczyk always preaches transition defense. When you ask him before a game, what do you guys have to do tonight? It always comes down to transition defense and rebounding, and they got both of those things spot on tonight.
Well, again, I think they felt that was going to be a priority for Bowling Green to try to score before Toledo got set up in their defense. And Bowling Green didn't have to run their half-court offense. And it didn't work out for the Falcons that way a lot because you think about it, so much of the possessions that Bowling Green was getting were after makes of Toledo. They had to take the ball out of the net and inbound it as opposed to long missed shots or turnovers. So they weren't able to go quickly in transition. They had to inbound it, get it up the floor. Well, by that time, Toledo has transitioned back and they're ready to play defense. So Toledo's outstanding shooting really helped them with their transition defense.
Knowing this Toledo coaching staff as we do, they'll take maybe the next hour or so to enjoy this one. And then maybe late tonight, certainly tomorrow morning, it's all eyes on Ball State. It's a Ball State team that swept the Rockets last year. It's going to be a slugfest on Tuesday night. Toledo poured 101 on Bowling Green tonight. Ball State, rather. Now it took them 2 overtimes to get there, but they put up 111 on Akron today.
Well, and again, you're only as good as your next play, your next practice, your next game. And right now, Toledo's only going to be as good as they are against Ball State on Tuesday night. This was a great win. Catch your breath, enjoy it. 45 minutes from now, start thinking about, I guarantee you the coaches will be breaking down tape, starting their game planning. Coach Kelso and the guys will be digging into that here shortly tonight. And even though you know who you're coming in, who you have, you got to prepare for them. And the players have to recognize this. And they've got a bunch of momentum going. They're riding high. And do not step back, do not slow down, and do not take your foot off the gas pedal and keep taking it to the whoever's next in line.
Our timeout coordinator at Savage Arena is Mike Lozier. Tremendous crew, as always. Edric Matthews, Jenna McGee, Desmond Phillips, Justin Dunlop, Sid Chowdhury, Nick Jacob, Sean Koger, Kaylee Lupero, Nick Kozak, Stephen Estes, Elvira Buenrostro, Brian Danford, our director and technical director, Greg Smith, our executive producer, as always at the University of Toledo, is John Ida Miller. So for Jay Gast and all of our crew, this is Mason Lowry saying so long from Savage Arena in Toledo, Ohio. For the Battle of I-75 goes the way of the Rockets as they take out Bowling Green 101-75. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a University of Toledo presentation of ESPN.